There we go. Welcome.
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 Welcome back to the Unhinged BookCast, a book club style podcast hosted by two romantacy book besties. I'm LJ.
And I'm Jess.
I'm Carla. And I'm Katie, and we're so excited to have you back.
Whether we're deep diving into thoughts and theories or just riding the vibes, we love discussing our current reads with each other and now with all of you.
In tonight's episode, we are discussing the Fae and Alchemy series by Callie Hart with Book 1, QuickSilver, chapters 28 through the end. This has been a reread for us.
But Katie and I are reading it for the first time. So there will be no spoilers as long as you have finished the current reading section.
Haven't caught up yet? No worries. This episode and the rest of our episodes for this series can be found in our Fae and Alchemy playlist.
Have thoughts and theories we haven't discussed? Well, you can discuss with us spoiler-free, chapter by chapter in our club on the Fable app. Also, please do all the things, liking, following, and subscribing on all of our platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and the Fable app.
And of course, a quick content warning. We read romantic fantasy books that are intended for adults. Some of the things that can and probably will come up are war, violence, and of course, no pants dances.
Though our discussions tend to skirt those topics, we frequently use adult language that is not suitable for little listening ears.
We hope you all are reading along with us, and we can't wait to hear your thoughts and theories as well. Also, today is release day for Brimstone, so make sure to pick yours up wherever you buy books.
Let's get started because I can't wait to discuss the end now that we have all finished the book.
Oh, me too.
All right, let's start with chapter 28. And can I say, I am still Team Carrion. Saris is trying to get the pieces of Danya's sword out of the wall because, she threw it into the wall. She broke it. Now she's got to fix it. And she's complaining to Carrion that this QuickSilver is mocking her and she doesn't know how to fix it. And, just being the genius that he is, he's like, well, if it's mocking you, you are conversing with this stuff. Well, why don't you just ask it to cooperate? And so she's like, no, that is stupid. But it's not stupid because, that's what she should do. She's talking to it. And it works. And of course she's mad that it works. And he's all, yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. And then all the pieces come out of the wall and agree to work with her.
For a price, though, right?
For a price. Like, when is this girl going to learn? They're like, yeah, I'll do what you want, but first, you gotta make a deal. And apparently, she learned nothing from Kingfisher bringing back this rando instead of her brother, and she's still making deals in this weird land. Why everybody in this weird land wants to make deals, I have no idea. But she's like, yeah, sure, I'll make a deal. What do you want? We want music. How? Okay, fine, whatever. Yeah, I'll give you a song. We all know it's not going to be as easy as that, but she agrees to it. And yeah, let's see what happens with that.
Yeah. And she did also, she asked it because Danya's sword used to be a god sword or whatever. And she's like, would you be willing to put the, let's just say, put the magic back in the sword or whatever, however she phrases it. And it says that it would, when it becomes a sword, it would judge the first blood drawn by the sword.
I actually have the quote. I found it.
Oh, do you? Okay,
From the
perfect.
QuickSilver, and it is in chapter 28. So she's talking to the QuickSilver, and they say they're kind of bickering about it because they kind of don't want to become a god sword again. The QuickSilver says all warriors are the same. It concluded after a long beat. They only wish to kill. That isn't true. Most warriors fight because they have to protect and defend. The QuickSilver says, improbable. How can we show you otherwise? The longest silence yet followed. 30 seconds ticked by, and then a minute. Another 3 had passed by when the QuickSilver finally spoke again. We will bear witness to the blood. What does that mean? We will be forged anew. When you have upheld your end of the bargain, we will taste the blood of the one who would carry us. If they are honorable, we will consider allowing the old magic to flow through us again.
Okay. When she holds up her end of the bargain. Yeah, okay.
Oh, and then it says, first you must restore us and bring us a song worthy of glory.
All right, we're moving on to chapter 29. Poor Carrion. Man, this kid, he cannot catch a break. He's also, he's a little dumb in this moment. So he's playing darts with Lorith. I think it's with Lorith.
Oh yes,
And he's like,
yeah.
Yes. While
That's
she's
right.
making it.
The dagger
Yes.
throwing competition.
thank you. Yes. Throwing daggers at, I think, like a stump. And it's like whoever misses first loses, right? And he's like just throwing it back. And then, like with magic, he's calling it back out of the wood stump and back into his hands. And he's like, he's done this 100, 200, however many times at this point. And Carrion's like just so frustrated. And it's like, dude, this guy is like made of magic. Why are you surprised he's beating you at freaking darts? Like, come on, dude, you're smarter than this.
Like the funniest part was he's like, yeah, and I was the gentleman and let him go first.
Yeah.
And he's like, or she goes, how many did you get? Or something like that. And he goes, well, I was the gentleman, let him go first. And he hasn't missed yet.
He hasn't even gotten to go yet.
He hasn't even got a turn yet.
Yeah.
Sad. Come on, Carrion.
That was so funny.
So they're at the forge now. I mean, so like they're having their little throwing competition outside the forge while Saris is in there like working her butt off, trying to get this sword put together. And then she knows that she wants like it needs to have a nice pommel. And so then she's like, "Oh, Lorith, you seem to be decent with a dagger, apparently. Knives. You happen to whittle?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm actually pretty good at it." So he whittles her a wolf's head, I think it was.
A wolf pommel, yeah.
Yeah, the wolf pommel, and then yeah, so she's able to get the sword put together. And then I believe she starts talking to it again at this point.
I don't think he starts talking to it just yet.
Okay.
So this is when she hands it to Lorith to be like, look at this, how cool
Yeah.
this is. And he accidentally cuts his finger on it and he goes, oh yeah, that's sharp or whatever. And it does draw blood. And then I think that's when Kingfisher comes in to tell them about the Aurora Borealis that's outside, which is funny because we have them outside currently at our house right now, which is really funny. But he was saying about how it's, I can't remember exactly what Kingfisher says, but he says it's like a blessing or something like that from the gods because this hasn't happened in over 1,000 years. And then that's when Lorith sings this song. Carla, what did you call it?
Okay, so if I had to suffer, y'all have to suffer too. When I'm reading it, it was to the tune of It's a Small World After All. Okay, so now that's all in your head too. So carry on.
It's small world. Oh my goodness, it will be. That's the funniest part. But yeah, so Laura sings this song, which is about Kingfisher and his wolves killing the last drake at the Ajon Gate.
Yeah.
And then that's when she starts talking with the sword again about how it accepts this song or whatever as a deal. And they take the song. So she says something about that was a beautiful song or whatever. And then they're both like, wait, what? And they have no idea and they don't remember. Yeah.
Okay, are you recording this time?
I am recording this time.
We're good?
Jerk.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
get
Carla,
started.
take it away.
All right. Moving on to chapter 30. The poor girl, she's been in the forge all night. What's a forge? Like 5 gazillion degrees. So of course she's hot and sweaty and gross and freaking exhausted because she's been up all night making this sweet booty sword. And he's like, you need a bath. No, sir, she needs a nap. Like, dude, she can take a bath later. It's fine.
I have a mechanic for a husband though. Like I get that. I don't care how tired you are, you're not getting into any of these beds until you get clean.
Hmm. All right. Well, does he make you a magic sword? I don't think so.
She didn't make it for him, technically. She didn't make it for the guy she gave it to either, but that's neither here nor there.
Details, details.
Details. Okay, continue.
So they're sleeping, and she wakes up to the sound of the Quicksilver, the Anareth more, Anareth more, Anareth more, and she realizes that it's the Quicksilver in Kingfisher that she's hearing.
In his eye.
Yeah, that's inside of him. And so she ends up talking with it, and she tells it that she wants to help it come out of Kingfisher. She'll strike a bargain with it. She'll do whatever it wants if it'll come out of Kingfisher. Um, but it doesn't want to, and then it also, not that it doesn't want to, but also it can't. It mentions how it can't basically without killing him. Then she's like, how can you be in him, bonded to him? You can't bond with living things, only weapons. And then it makes a cryptic statement about how Kingfisher is the greatest weapon of all. And then that's when it's like, if we came out of him, it would kill us and him. Which I found interesting because this is like one of the first times I think we've ever heard of the Quicksilver being able to be killed too, in a way.
Yeah.
I grabbed onto that this time reading it that I didn't catch that the first time. Okay, so then they're talking. Saracen Kingfisher are talking, and after this whole Quicksilver thing, and he says something about how like, oh, you're a better thief than I thought, I think, or something like that.
Said
Um,
it turns out that she is a good thief after all.
there we go. Okay. Okay. Um, yeah, and so he's like, turns out that you're a good thief after all, because you did steal something from me. Because she's talking about how she stole the ring, and he's like, you didn't steal it. I knew exactly what you're doing. But then he's like, oh, it turns out you're a good thief after all, because you did steal something from me. And I
Ew.
think we can all agree, because he doesn't say it, but he's like, he doesn't actually say you stole my heart, but that's totally what he's implying at this point, which is adorable.
As Team Carrion, I have to I have to be very just not a fan. But sorry, I'm not
I
crying.
like Carrion, but I don't know how you can't be a Kingfisher fan. He is one of my
He's
all-time favorite
not.
book
He's
boyfriends.
one
Oh
of my
my
favorites
goodness.
too.
A hard pass. Sorry.
Well, we could talk about this when we're all done. Is he a red flag? A freaking walking. He's flaming and walking with it, but I like him.
Yeah, I like him too.
If I didn't love my brother-in-law so much, I would be very worried about your taste. But okay,
My husband's
I
golden retriever
we move
energy, and
on.
we all know that.
Um, so we're moving on from the sappy stuff. Now we got some battle going on again. Um, and Sirius convinces Kingfisher to let her come with him. There's a little arguing that goes on, but then he's like, "Yeah, I guess that's fine." And he just like magics Solus, the
Oh, I
Solus.
think he brings it
Yeah,
out
like
from like an armoire or something, doesn't he?
Oh, okay.
it
Okay.
sounds like it
Right.
comes straight from his hand.
I think he does that with his sword, but he did have Solus with him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
because
think
his
that is
sword
right.
is like back
Yeah,
strapped
his
behind
sword,
him, or he's strapping it behind him, or something like that.
yeah. And so then he gives her Solus, which was his father's sword. And also the one that she pulled from the stone in Zilverin or Zilvarin that opened the Quicksilver. And then he makes like one little random comment about how his father's bones rest somewhere in Zilvarin and how he would have liked Saris to have the sword.
Mhm.
And that's like his condition for her coming with is that you have to take this.
Yeah. So excited. So chapter 31. Um, they go out and we have our battles here, but Malcolm's nowhere to be found or whatever.
Mhm.
And he's telling her about how Fey magic doesn't work on the other side of the darn because Fey magic works off of, or it needs life and light to work. And they're just kind of like, they're talking about, like strategy or whatever, about how they have to make it past that halfway line or whatever for them to be able to attack. They can't attack until something makes it past the halfway
With
line.
magic.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing. So they're just kind of sitting and waiting. And there is a breach. We do get some to come across or whatever. And so Kingfisher takes off to go take care of that. And he says, you stay with Ren. Stay with Ren. And so they start like kicking ass and stuff like that. Cause Ren's like, okay, I want you to go run through the woods, go find Lorith, and he'll take you somewhere. I can't remember. And she's like, no, if I run through the woods, then I'm definitely going to die. That's why Kingfisher told me to stay with you.
Yeah.
And then Carla, I know you got just as excited as I did about some of this stuff, but real quick, I have a quote though, which was so funny. And it says, this is Ren when they're like fighting back to back or whatever. And she's fighting with Solus. And it says, don't you dare die on my watch, Sirius Spain. If Kingfisher's sole reason for living dies, he'll ... But I just thought that part was hilarious.
Oh, I thought it was sweet.
Oh, really? Don't you dare die.
No,
I'm
his
not
sole
getting
reason
my
for
ass
living.
kicked.
Yeah.
It's his sole reason for living.
Okay, whatever. But
okay, whatever.
Okay, Carla, let's move on.
All right, we're moving on.
What do we got?
Numbers.
I know you were so excited about some of this stuff too.
I was excited the vampires are back. Just because I'm not a big Fae fan. I like vampires.
That's
I don't know if I like vampires, but I just really don't like Fae. So here we go. Oh, and then where I'm 455, there is a woman that's coming at her. She's a feeder. Looks like she's newly dead. These feeders are really giving more of like a zombie vibe to me than a vampire vibe.
See, that's what I think too. And I think we had this conversation last time, is I think the feeders are more zombie than vampire, because there are
They definitely
vampires.
are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
But
definitely
the
are.
zombies are dead. So, or the zombies are dead.
The
feeders.
feeders. Yeah, the feeders are dead.
Usually zombies are dead too.
Get all of these creatures straight here.
No, zombies are undead. Come on.
Oh, good grief.
Oh. Okay, Jess, what happens at the very end of this chapter?
All right. So then they get across and Lorith is able to use his new fancy angel's breath magic stuff to take him out. Which just does not sound very foreboding at all,
but I like it.
It kind of fits him. And then yeah, so there's no Malcolm or anything, but the chapter ends with a female's voice calling for Kingfisher from across the Darn. And Saris is like, I know that voice, and looks up, and it's Everlane.
Yeah.
And that's how the chapter ends. 32, she's being held captive over there. And Malcolm doesn't come out, but we meet a new character, Teladaeus. Teladius.
Taladeus.
Syllables. Get those syllables right. Damn it. Okay.
Taladeus.
I just think of Talladega Nights. Every time I hear his name, that's all I can think of. Talladega Nights.
Okay, my kid's name is Thaddeus. And every time I read this, so like when we're being goofy with him, we go Thaddeus.
Oh.
And so like every time I like hear him say that in the audio, in my head, I giggled every time because I hear Thaddeus instead of Taladeus.
Well, that's how you can keep the syllables correct, and I can't hear. Wait, what is it? God damn it.
Taladeus.
Anywho, that would be Malcolm's, I guess you could call him son. He's like his second in command, but he is his son.
Oh, I didn't think he was his son, but
well, he's his son in the sense of vampires.
Oh, yeah.
A vampire turns another person, they then become their like son, daughter, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Kingfisher and Everlane and I can't say his name, T, are talking. And Saris is like, why can't she let's just go get her. Like, why can't she come over? And I can't remember which one it was, Ren or Lorith or somebody is like, no, look at that gold band around her neck. She's enthralled. She can't. She literally can't. She wouldn't want to come over to us and leave them.
Um, so I know how this ends. Obviously, we finished the book. But at this
Right.
point, I'm thinking, great, she's been bitten. She's going to turn. We're going to get to the end of the book or the end of the next book or the book after that. And somebody is going to meet her in battle and have to kill her. And that's gonna
Oh,
suck.
yeah.
And I'm thinking, yeah. So
That was a good
that's
thought. I never had that
Yeah,
thought
I
during this
never had that
chapter.
thought either. That's a good, yeah. I can
Yeah.
totally, yeah. I probably would have had that thought if I thought hard enough.
Right.
all right. We're moving on to chapter 33. And in this chapter, we learn that Big Bad Malcolm is actually the king of the vampires because he
Hmm.
is the first vampire with this blood curse.
Yep. Yeah, so he was the first to have the blood curse, and because of that, his venom is the most powerful. And he's the one who bit, which we talked about already a little bit, but he's the one who bit Everlane, so that is also why she's under this like really strong enthrallment to him. And then okay, so then we are kind of moving on from like they're all trying to figure out like what's gonna happen here. Danya's, being her typical self and gets
He's
all,
pissed.
gosh, dang it. She goes and I think this might be the first time that she really like sees the sword, like Lorith with the sword, and she's like, "That's mine," like a little toddler, and just goes to take it. I'm like always telling my kids, use your words, communicate, don't take things from each other. I mean, I wanted to tell her the same
Right?
thing, like, let's use your words. Maybe you'd still have a hand. Um, but she tries to take it
That's
from him,
fun.
and her hand just turns to mist because you don't touch
Pink
another
mist,
person.
though.
Pink mist. It was pink mist, yes.
That was fun.
All right. So, chapter 34, like I just said, she feels weird that he used her government name and she doesn't know how she feels about this. So, we are back at Kalish and we've all shadowgated back
Right.
through. We're in like, I think the dining room, right?
Yeah, that's where they're all ending up after they come through the Shadow Gate.
Right. And then so Danya is the first one to come back too. So she sits in the seat that she's been sitting the entire time.
Saris.
And Saris, yeah. And Danya's like, you should really move so you don't embarrass yourself before Fisher comes back. That spot's for his wife.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, but bitch, I ain't moving. And then at some point, Laura brings Carrion back.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how Carrion had slept through this entire war battle.
Yep.
So it's good to get a good nap in.
Right. And then who else caught what he brought back with him?
Oh, I know. He's so
He
funny.
brought a plant
Freaking
back
brings a plant back. They're like, what the frick is wrong with you?
that he found growing in the snow. He brought it
Yeah,
back.
he just like comes back through the gate with a plant. He's
Totally
like, yeah, I
forgot.
slept through the battle and here's my plant. It was the only green thing growing. I figured it needed a chance.
I needed a chance at life. Yeah.
That's
Which I
so
thought
gonna
was
come
like,
back.
I
Oh,
know. That's what I thought too. I was like, there's something about this plant. Like, I feel like it's his Groot. Does that
His
make
gr-
sense? This is his Groot. He's growing his Groot. So then we're talking about she's back in the forge. She's making Quicksilver again or whatever. Or she's not making, but she's talking to the Quicksilver again.
Mhm.
And this time it wants a secret. And what did you say about that, Carla?
that is like a super lame. I'm happy that they were happy with it. But that is a lame secret.
It
That's stupid.
likes
But
her
whatever.
secrets, but
Hey,
not
they're
her
happy.
jokes.
Hey, at
It's
least she
fine.
also like was smart enough where she's like, okay, if I tell you a secret, will I remember it?
Yeah, that's true.
Um, are you gonna tell everybody in the world about it? And they're like, no, 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 it's just for us. She's like, okay.
Just
So
for
she's
us, just
getting
for
a little
us.
better at the deal. She's trying.
Just try.
Brian. Yeah.
Yeah, so she gives the secret to the QuickSilver and forges it with the ring. So she's trying to make a relic here. And so it works. It works. It actually merges with it. And so she's officially made her first relic now. Then out of curiosity, she's like puts the ring on. And immediately like all the candles blow out, the lights go dark, and just this incessant in her brain is just this Anarath more, Anarath more, Anarath more being chanted, and she's just like in this enthrallment basically to it.
So before she puts the ring on, even, she's like cutting her hand, she's putting her own blood into the ring. So
Hmm.
she had to have known it was going to like forge with her, just like the sword did with Laura's. I
Oh
don't know
yeah,
why
I didn't
everything
think of
needs
that.
blood.
Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's like we've learned nothing from the sword debacle. People are losing hands. Apparently, we don't care.
It might grow back.
Yeah. This section has nothing to do with carrion. It has to do with the fact that we are learning from Tilana, Tilina, Tilina.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Okay. So yeah, she
Yeah,
comes
Talina.
in. I totally forgot
That's
about
when all the
yeah,
that.
lights, like
so
she's in her head, and then Tylena comes in and all the lights come back on.
Yeah.
yes, and we're asking about Tilina's tattoos and what they all mean, and she's saying that she has designed these tattoos with her husband, and you're supposed to wait 5 years, but they only waited two, because even after you've married the person, apparently they might not be the person for 5 years, which seems like a very short amount of time when these people are
Right?
living for like
Mm-hmm.
Yawns. Yeah.
millennium. Like, why aren't they like wait at least 200 years or 2 years? Like,
Yeah.
okay, oh, okay, whatever. Um,
Agreed.
but yeah, so Saris is like, yo, I have the same tattoos on me. And so she's talking about how, in these old fables, they're not true, but there used to be soulmates and they would have these tattoos would just appear on them that she has had that just appears on them. So I'm like, oh, poor Carrion, because, you know, this is not the way it's supposed to go down. But okay, fine.
Oh,
I
that's
give
why
up.
you're saying poor Carrion, because you're on Team
Yes,
Carrion.
Oh.
I'm Team
Are you still
Carrion.
on Team Carrion's the brother
I
too?
want to know that too. Are you still on the
Hold on, we
brother?
have that. We have that at the end, so we'll get
Okay,
there.
never mind. Don't answer that.
Don't answer that. We don't want to know yet. All right. Chapter 35. Okay, so she really wants the reason that he she's confronted Kingfisher. She really wants to know um why he said her government name because it's bothering her because we're women and our man says something slightly different and all of a sudden the world's going to hell and we need to know what's wrong. So she's basically like, well, you can't lie to me and I know you can't lie to me because of X, Y, and Z. And he just goes, fuck.
Yep.
And I thought that was super funny.
So basically, he starts this out by saying, uh, you know, I knew all my life that you were going to be my soulmate. You were supposed to have pointy ears and be a fae, but then you showed up and you were a human, and humans suck. So I decided I was going to be an you, because that makes a lot of sense, and I am a 5-year-old. So okay, yeah.
So yeah, she's like, what do these tattoos mean? What is this? Tylena said, this is like mates and bonds and god bonds and all this stuff. And so he lays it out there for her, which I was proud of him for telling her the truth. Um, and I love this conversation. Like,
Yeah,
they're mates.
I
I love
didn't,
mates. I
but
love fated mates.
I do like that they did talk about like the OSHA and all that kind of stuff
Yep.
and like the OSHA or the Oshalith or whatever. They hatch once in 1,000 years in the coldest place like imaginable. And like these people find it a great honor to go and try to keep them as warm as possible, even like to their own death or whatever, so that these guys can live and breed and die all in the same day or whatever.
Hmm.
And but I do. So I didn't catch this on the first time I read it, but like he also mentions he goes up in these mountains or whatever where the dragons used to live. So this is like the second mention of dragons this time, or that I've caught on to,
Yeah.
in the second round, because the first one is that one dragon head or whatever on top of King Belicon's throne.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, the people go to shield them from the cold, and they have so like these butterflies or whatever, they have music and it heals people. And it means the most sacred, and that's why he calls her that, because she's the most sacred. In chapter 36.
So they're talking, her and Kingfisher are done with their little conversation. One little thing in their conversation before we move forward here is that she does talk to him about like the relic on him, the necklace that he wears, and she's like, "Why isn't this fixing the Quicksilver thing?" And he said, "This is more than just a relic. It was forged by like one of the most powerful witches, and it's imbued with like spells and magic, not just the Quicksilver magic." Um, and it's kind of like growing, the Quicksilver is becoming too powerful even for this relic now at this point. So then they're all having a little meeting about what they're going to do. How are they going to save Everlane? And basically, even if they get her back, she's still going to be under the enthrallment. And they have to save her, they have to get her. They have to break that. Only way to do that is they have to find a witch. And the only thing, like, about that is that they have to find a very, very powerful witch. Not just any witch, it has to be a very, very powerful witch.
Carrion wants to go help find the witch, but he
And they're kind of
says,
all, well, first they're all kind of like making jokes, like you just kind
Yeah.
of want to screw one, or
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Just want to go so you can screw one.
And he's like, well, why not? But and
Just so
then
I can say I did it.
yeah, and then like kind of like his ending line of it would be what you have.
he says, I am too pretty to die.
Old.
Yeah, he
He
says,
doesn't
I'm too
want to die
pretty to
old. He
die
wants to die
old.
young.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh
Oh.
yes, I did not write that part of the book.
But yeah, so they figure out who's going. They come back and they're not in a very good mood. They're like, yeah, well, we found the witches and things were going well and they were being nice to us and everything. And then Danya messed it up. She had to go run her mouth and now they hate us again. Like because there's like a feud sort of between the Fae and the witches. But yeah, so Danya messed it up. But they were able to bring one back who was kind enough to come back with them and help them, but they're hoping it's going to be enough. And her name is, what is her name?
Isabel.
Isabel. And she's like the great granddaughter of like one of the most powerful witches or something like that. So they're hoping,
Something like that.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're hoping that she's going to have enough power to do what needs to
She
be done.
also has like a Scottish accent on the
Yeah.
odd that
It's more
Nice.
like
also threw
Irish,
me.
but
Yeah,
yeah, me
it
too. Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, Winifred. I don't know what else to say, but I thought she was like young, cute, and hot until I read that. And then I was like, okay, I'm confused.
Yeah.
All right. So chapter 37. Let me break this down for you. So Kingfisher is basically ready to not have Sirius mad at him anymore. So he decides to take her on a quick dinner date to the
Yeah.
townhouse in Ballad. And they have a wonderful, relaxing night of candlelight dining, reading, and even have a time for some quick tattoo appointments.
I don't think
Um,
we read the same chapter.
No, I think we did based on your notes.
I think we
We
did.
did. I think we just all
We
had
did.
very different opinions on this chapter. I love this chapter.
I'm sure you did. Just
I did.
tell us the
Okay.
basic
All
of what
right.
we get out of this.
Okay, so without going into too much, detail here, they do the thing again. But they, during this time, Kingfisher gets a new tattoo on his neck, some wings or something like that.
He gets a butterfly.
Yes, okay. Okay. Um, and so then after the fact, we'll just, leave it at that. After the fact, he's like, "Do I have something new right here? I've kind of felt something." And she's like, "Yeah, you've got a new butterfly tattoo thing going on." And he's like, "Huh, okay." And I honestly don't remember. Yeah, I think it is. It is in this one because he does explain to her, because she's like, "Why are you getting tattoos now? What's going on with that?" And he goes,
Because
"Well,
she accepted
I
being
accepted
her
the bond.
mate. Yeah.
I decided to accept the mating bond or whatever."
Okay, so chapter 38. Next morning, she wakes up in his mom's bed and she's like, "Oh man, he must have carried me to bed. How sweet." And then she realizes there's a shadow gate, some clean clothes, and a note, and a really
Mhm.
sad note. And it kind of
Yeah.
was sad. But he went to Gilfrey alone, and he left the shadow gate open for her to go back to Kalish. And he's gonna get Everlane, and he's gonna at whatever time he's gonna push Everlane back through the Shadowgate, and they need to be ready to get her to Isabel so that Isabel and Talina can start pulling the enthrallment, whatever, out of
Yeah,
Everlane.
fixing her.
Yep. So she goes back through to Kalish, and she's kind of telling everybody how this went down, letting everybody read the note. And this group, the A team here, we make a plan that, because Carrion brings up, he's like, "Okay, well, how long do the gates stay open?"
Mm-hmm.
Because she goes back into his room, Kingfisher's room, and Carrion's in there. They have a quick conversation, and that's when they go get the gang. And he's like, "That, how long did we talk or whatever?" And he's like, "I don't know. It stays open like 10-15 seconds or whatever. Like there is a delay." And then so like, okay, that's what we'll do when he opens up that gate to put Everlane in. That's when we're gonna send us back up through it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Carrion's like, "Oh, wait, doesn't he say something like really funny when he brings up about the gates or something? Like, don't they go both ways?"
I I mean, he's the one who brings it up. I don't remember if he said something funny or not.
I think he did.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But yeah. And then so she's saying something or whatever. And then Carrion, Carly, you're so right. Like his liners are hilarious. So he says,
Oh
"I'm
man, he's the best.
coming. Yeah, I'm coming with you to help save your asshole boyfriend. But
Yes.
first, I want one of those fancy swords."
Yep.
Yes,
So they run
he
over to the
totally
forge real
deserves a
quick.
sword. Putting up with these dumb
Right.
butts.
So they run over to the forge and they make a sword, right? And it wants jokes or something like that. And so she's
Yep.
like telling it all this
I
jokes.
love this sword.
And they're like,
I mean, her joke that she tries to give at
Yeah.
first, totally lame. So, you know, just saying.
It liked Carrion's
it
dirty
likes
jokes much
Karen's
better.
dirty jokes.
Yes.
And I think like the best joke of it all is he goes, "I named it Simon."
Yep. Yep.
What is wrong with the name Simon? That's
I
not a
don't know,
joke.
but it was so fun. Like we
It's
have
just
like
not God sorty.
Angel's Breath, like
Whatever.
Like
Nimmerel,
Nimmerel,
Human.
Solus,
Solus,
Avisiath, and Simon.
and Simon.
Simon
I dare
says,
say that his sword has the best name as opposed to all this nonsense that you can't pronunciate.
and then he's like, she goes, "Okay, so did the Quicksilver give you like cool gaudy magic stuff because you got a sword now?" And he goes, "That's for me to know and you to find out."
Right? Yeah, I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all in the dining room. The gang's in the dining room. We're getting ready for Kingfisher. We're just kind of waiting around, waiting for this to happen, right? And Lorith, so I forgot. This is another thing. So Lorith is saying about how he doesn't trust the witches
Mm-hmm.
because they are dragon lovers.
Ooh, I did
And
not
the
catch that.
reason they are in the curse in the first place,
Yeah.
like the original long ago blood curse thing.
Yep.
Oh, I was like, interesting. Dragon lovers. Do witches have dragons? because I like when witches have dragons.
I might like them a little more if they do.
I like them a lot. I love witches. So then that's when Everlane comes flying through the ceiling.
Yeah, it's like a horizontal gate, not a vertical gate this time. She comes crashing down onto the dining room table. So then they
Yep.
have to like actually like boost. So that it kind of gives them there's a too much of a delay a little bit because the plan originally was Cerys, Carrion, Renfis, and Lorith were gonna go.
Yep.
And only Cerys, Lorith, and Carrion make it in time before the gate
That's the next
shuts.
chapter, but yeah.
Well, they say that that's
I
who they
think
boost
part of
up.
it is that, yeah, like he's Renfis is boosting everybody up, but then there's
Yeah.
not really
And so
anybody to
he's not.
boost him through the, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he
Yeah.
doesn't have mad jump stream.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Chapter 39. Like I said, or well, we've been saying is
Mm-hmm.
they're jumping now up through the portal, and because the table is broken, that's why, yeah, Ren's having to shove everybody up and through this
Mm-hmm.
hole. And so she's falling and falling and falling, and she falls into the river. And at first she's like, oh shit, I'm gonna drown. And then Mr.
And it's
Lorith,
freezing.
our friendly Mr. Lorith, he gets her up on the bank. She's like, it's Carrion. Carrion's out here too. So he goes and gets Carrion because can't leave Carrion behind, because at this point,
Because he's the best.
yeah, he does carry the story in some places, that is for sure.
Yeah.
So, and then they're up on this bank or whatever, and they're like, that sucks, this hurts. And so Lorith gives them this widow's bane, um some seaweed, I guess, to put in their mouths, but don't swallow it, but it'll take away like all the pain or whatever.
And like emboldens them, makes them feel like they're superheroes, basically.
So like they're pumping juices. That's not what I was thinking of, but yeah.
They're juicing.
They're juicing. That's what I was thinking of. They're juicing. Pumping juice. I don't know.
Got some roids going on up in here.
Some roids. There we go. So they roid out, right? And then so that's when they decide to climb up to the top of the cliffs. And they can see that there's like this amphitheater that has like all these people screaming Anarathmore or whatever. And then we have somebody show up, and it's Heron.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. What do you think about that, Carla, when that popped up?
I was surprised. Yeah, why is he hanging out with the baddies? Like,
but we thought he was
I guess
dead
he started
when we left
with
him.
the baddie. Yeah.
We thought she killed him.
And so I'm like, is he human? Is he not human? Like, if he's back, is he like one of these undead zombie guys? Like, what's going on?
Yep.
And also, he ends up making this vortex.
Yep.
And Cerys can just tell by looking at it. We don't ever really get a full picture of why it's different, but she can tell that it's somehow different than the ones that Kingfisher makes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see. She doesn't even know. She doesn't really explain how it's not right, but she just knows it's not right. And so I'm interested to see what the difference is between his portals and Kingfisher's.
And when they step through it, she says she can just like tearing her apart is what it felt like.
Yeah.
It's like a not right shadow gate.
Yeah. And maybe it's because he is human. Who knows? I guess we'll find out.
So chapter 40, we come into this amphitheater, and we've got Malcolm, Belicon, and Madra.
Yep.
I don't remember, but I think I said Madra was the big baddie in the last book or last week. I'm not sure.
You said something. You said something like that. I think you did.
About how, I think both of you thought Madra was the big baddie. Yep.
And Kingfisher is also there.
Kingfisher, yes, he's there. And well, this is between like Madra's talking too, but how Fenris, that's not right. Fenris,
I
Kingfisher's
can't
dad.
remember what his name was.
Let's pretend it's Fenris
Sure.
because we're all sorts of all over the place in the book world right now. So Kingfisher's dad was sent on a mission from Belicon to kill Madra originally, is what he says. Is that he sent him into Zalvaria to kill Madra. But they're like, oh, we've hashed it out. We've decided there's no reason to be doing this or whatever. And then King Belicon also says that there really has never been a war. There is no war. That's why they're losing, is because Belicon is just sending these warriors to be feed for the feeders, which is basically the army that Malcolm has.
Yep.
Because they're just the foot soldiers. So that's why they won't win. And so and then we also find out that this amphitheater is filled with the dead of the Gilthry or whatever, the people of Gilthry.
Yeah.
And then that's when Belicon releases his genie magic from Kingfisher.
the bond thing, because he's like, should we let him tell the story or should we tell the story? And that, I think, is how this chapter ends.
Yeah, and that's how it ends. Yeah.
Basically, Malcolm was in this town of Gilthry, and him and his hordes of feeders, and they were attacking it. And Kingfisher's there, and kind of realizing that it was too much. Him and his cadre were not going to be able to take them all out on their own.
Yep.
So he makes a deal with Malcolm. Here we are with the dumb deals again.
Yep.
Makes this deal with Malcolm.
This is Kingfisher makes the choice though, because he knows that they're not all going to be able to make it out. Right. And so they lock down the city and they burn the city. That was all Kingfisher's. It had nothing to do with the deal. Okay, but there was still some that were gonna live or whatever, and that's what he was bargaining for, was like a handful of survivors.
Yes. And so in this bargain, Malcolm pulls out a coin and he flips it basically, and he's like, if it lands on, basically heads, I let everybody go, tails, I kill everyone, basically. And you can't, and he tells Kingfisher, like, you can't use magic, like part of the bargain, you can't use magic, you can't influence the coin, how it's gonna land at all or anything like that. And now I'm actually wondering if it was actually like, if Belicon was also there, Malcolm and Belicon were there, and Belicon is the one that flips it, because then Malcolm's like, and one way or another, they flip this coin, Malcolm catches it, so it never lands. And all these
I think
people...
you're missing an important part of the deal.
Go for it.
So while the coin toss was being decided, he wasn't allowed to harm me or my brother.
Yes, while we were still waiting for a decision.
Yes.
Yes.
So in the process, all this time, he can't hurt Malcolm. He can't hurt
Belicon.
Yep.
Yeah, so Belicon was there. That's right. Yes. Thank you. Good. Yes.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so he catches it. So it's like in limbo, basically. So Kingfisher can't, to this day, harm Malcolm or Belicon. And all of these people are also kind of stuck in limbo at this point. And they're
literally like hell, just reliving their deaths over and over and over again.
And
constantly.
They are the people in the amphitheater.
Yep. That he chose to burn down, basically. Yeah.
And they can't move on and find peace and all those things until this deal goes through.
Yeah. So then Malcolm makes the Labyrinth for Kingfisher and tells him that if he can find the coin or whatever, then he'll release all the souls. Yep. And so Kingfisher spends 55 years in this maze just trying to find the center of the maze. And then 8 years after searching for the coin in this mountain of coins, there's this QuickSilver pool apparently that is under all of the coins in the center of the maze, and it starts to shake, and that's when Kingfisher goes through the QuickSilver to
Zilvarin.
Sorry,
I didn't know if we were answering or not. Yes.
No, I was kind of waiting to see if Carla had it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the QuickSilver didn't technically call to him, but that's where it took him.
Yep.
When she pulled the sword. Chapter 42. We're in the home stretch, guys. Okay, so now the whole group is running through the labyrinth. Okay, that's not exactly how this happens, but they're running through the labyrinth. And Kingfisher is like, okay, the first 10 turns or whatever are always the same, and then it changes, and goes, what does you mean it changes? Well, the map changes basically, because Malcolm likes to make it interesting. So
Like the
then
stairs in Harry Potter. It's awesome.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay. And then we meet this spider centaur type thing.
Demon thing.
That can't hear and he can't see. So he just like tracks movement, I guess, which some of this like still didn't make sense to me, but I was like, okay, whatever. And then when they get past it, it runs out of its enclosure and it's not supposed to be able to do that.
Right. Last time he was there, it couldn't do that.
Right. So they take this thing down, and then Carrion's like, sweet, we got it down or whatever. And Kingfisher's like, nope, it's going to respawn. Let's get going.
And it'll respawn stronger.
Yep.
Smaller, but faster. Yeah.
Right. Creepy. Okay. So because obviously when they're like running into the labyrinth, Kingfisher's like, I have a plan. And she's like, okay, what's the plan? He goes, it'll have to wait or whatever. And that's when they run into the spider centaur thing. So they use her to be able to find the center, the QuickSilver or whatever that's in the coin. And so that's why she's like, okay, left, no, right, or whatever. And Carrion's like, okay, you just said left. And she goes, well, it's changing. The walls are moving, dumbass. And so we make it to the center where this mountain of freaking coins are, right? And then we have Malcolm, Madra, and Belcon, and they're the fearsome threesome.
Triumvirate,
Triumvirate.
or whatever. But you can call them that.
I kind of like the fearsome threesome. Like, it
I kinda
sounds
do
dirty,
too.
but it's really funny.
All right, Team Carrion here. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna play the hero, and he gets bit. Like kind of taunts him to like, come on, bite
Malcolm,
me.
yeah.
And he obviously has a plan because he's like taunting him. He's like, bite me, bite me, bite me. And yeah, he is the bomb. He's like, somehow makes Malcolm sick. And he says, my name is Carrion Danthus.
Dianthus? Yeah, something like
Dianthus?
that. Yeah.
Sure. And yeah, Carrion has taken him down.
Yeah, we don't like know what that means in this chapter, but Malcolm
No
obviously like once he says the name, Malcolm's eyes go wide and he's like, you tricked me. Fuck.
So they're gonna fight off with the fearsome threesome, and then she's gonna go off to go find this coin, and then she goes back and finds it in the Temu version of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that part gave me the willies when I first read it.
It's
like,
so it's like still dead, it hasn't respawned yet or whatever, and it's like what, in its head or something.
Yeah, she can see the
It's like
glinting of the
down
silver in
below.
like the back of its throat, but he's got all these nasty,
Ugh.
gnarly teeth, and she has to reach her hand like all the way in there. And she's like, I have to go a little farther. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Nope.
Good times.
And then she gets the coin, and Malcolm says, you better give me that coin, girl. Just
Yeah,
gross.
right.
Yeah, right. No way, loser. So chapter 43, Malcolm takes the coin, puts it in his coin purse,
Little coin purse.
and they have a little scuffle. And I just wanted to mention, so this was after she takes the coin back from him. They try to like gut each other, or he tries to gut her, and he's reading the runes on her arms, or the tattoos, which he says He named them one at a time: earth, air, fire, water, salt, brimstone, quicksilver. The full gamut. More power than any alchemist I've ever encountered. You are capable of restoring me to my power and a lot more besides.
Mm-hmm.
So I
And
thought
those
that
are
was
the
interesting
runes on
because
her fingers.
those are all the runes on her fingers. And I realized
Ugh.
I'd never caught that before.
I know. That's, see how
I'm
my
like,
note says that
and
I've got a note that belongs in thoughts and theories.
right?
It goes with this.
Yeah. And now I'm like, okay. But at the time, I didn't know that the next book that was coming
Right?
out was Brimstone. So we have
Yep.
Quicksilver and Brimstone.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
And I'm like,
And
okay,
yep.
I thought this was supposed to be a trilogy, but is there going to be more than this?
I
Like,
had
there's
the
no way
exact same thought.
I don't know. We're
oh.
going to have to find out because I wanted this to be a trilogy. but
Yep.
But anyway, so she gets the coin purse, whatever, and she flips it and it lands. And all the souls are released and she chops off his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Woohoo.
Yep.
Moving into chapter 44, she wakes up not where she was. She wakes up in who knows where, but there's these two like 18-year-old twin girls talking to her, and we find out that they're the two goddesses, the twin goddesses. I don't have their
Bella
names.
and something.
Okay. Okay.
With an M.
Can I just say really quick? This is inappropriate and I kind of don't care, but like how they're like, the first thing they're asking her is like, what it's like.
What's it like?
What?
Sex.
What's
They're
it
like, yeah,
like?
was it like sex? And I thought this was so funny because this is so like a little sister asking a big sister or like an aunt or like some. I think it's really funny that Katie wasn't able to finish this out with us, but
Yeah.
because the Katie'd probably be like, yeah, that would make sense. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd ask my aunt before I'd ask my mom. And I just want to
Oh.
say, like, that's what it totally gave off. And it was super funny.
Yeah. Yeah,
And it was more funny
definitely.
the second time. But continue.
Yeah, so they're talking, she's talking with them, and then all of a sudden she's goes and they take her to their dad, Zareth, the god of chaos.
Chaos.
The one that, I mean, Kingfisher flips all of them off, but the one that everybody, the
Uh-huh.
statue that everybody would like touch his foot, hoping that he wouldn't bring chaos.
Yep.
So anyway, so she gets to talk with him. He keeps referring to Kingfisher as his champion, first of all.
Yep.
Doesn't ever really go into a ton of detail about that, but he does. Um, and we find out all the steps. So please, both of you, jump in with details here as you need to. So there's this tree there, basically like the tree of life, and each leaf on the tree represents a realm. And so he's explaining the tree to her, that like that's how they control the fates of everything going on.
Yep. Like there's some leaves that are like black and rotten.
Yes.
And
And they don't want that rot spreading, so then they have to decide what to do with that leaf.
Yep.
Which
And
is
then
a
he shows
realm
her,
full of people.
yeah. And he shows her like the whole other side of the tree. And then there's like a kind of not a balanced conversation, but a balanced conversation.
Yeah.
There has to be light and darkness.
And I was really having some flashbacks here on this
I
part.
was too, but like I remember and I couldn't when I was reading this, I was like, okay, didn't Carrion say something about how there has to be lightness and darkness at some point? I don't know, but it was
I don't know.
somebody.
Maybe. Maybe.
Carla,
That's
do you
kind of ringing a bell.
remember?
In nature, there is a counterweight to everything. Light has darkness. Life
Yeah.
has death. Joy has sorrow. And good has evil.
Mm.
Yeah.
Was it Carrion
And
that had said that?
That is
no,
said
this is
by
the god of
the
chaos.
Oh, this is what the
Zareth.
god
Yeah.
says. Okay. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I felt like I know a character at some point had brought this up. And maybe it was Kingfisher though, since he's the one that
Maybe.
apparently was there, which we'll get there in
Right.
a second. But
Yeah. So I guess we can jump into that part at some point.
It was right after his mother died.
Right.
The gods brought Kingfisher there to speak with him.
That's right. That's right. Do
And
you
it
want to
didn't go
finish
well.
that? Like,
Sure.
what? I can't remember because, like, what happened when Kingfisher was there?
They don't say much other than it didn't
Okay.
go well.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I think that's obvious because when you think about it, every time he walks past the gods, he flips them off. And I think
Right.
it's funny.
Right. So then we find out that Zareth, obviously, like, he also, there's this whole thing between, like, Saris and Kingfisher, how their fates have been intertwined. And when the gods saw that, when they come together, pretty much every possible thing that could outcome is the destruction of the entire tree. Um, and so they kind of tried to keep them apart. Zareth admits to interfering with her birth, that she actually was supposed to be born Fae, which would make sense why his mom was drawing her with pointed ears and all that. Um, but they interfered with her birth and made her be born human in Zilvarin instead of...
Not the gods, he did.
Yeah, Zareth did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And so, and then this is the part also that I got a little bit fuzzy on, where he kind of explains that it's almost like he's rooting for them. Like, I tried to keep you guys apart, but now...
Yeah, because like, what they see is if they're together, then basically the whole entire tree burns.
Right.
I hardly got this the second time around, so I mean,
Okay,
maybe
all
I'm
right.
not the one to ask, but
Okay. Carly, you
all
got
I know is
anything you want to...
balance.
Does any of this make more sense to you?
No.
Okay. Well, then we'll just keep rolling here. He does say, I don't know if he had a change of heart or what exactly, but he says basically he's now rooting for them in a way, and that he won't wipe her out because it'd make her daughter sad, because, or his daughter sad, because they really like Saracen Kingfisher. Um, and
But
so
they
he's
won't
giving...
take Kingfisher out
Right.
because of that. Because they think he's a hottie.
Yeah. Yeah. So he offers her basically like a way to, he's like, I have to basically erase you so that the other gods can't see you and interfere with your life. So you would be godless. We wouldn't be there to help you. We also wouldn't be there to interfere with anything going on in your life. You need to make this decision. And the
Yeah, to
fates of
be
the
his
world...
ward, right?
Yes, exactly. And the fate of everything lies in your decision. And then he says, we have to make you into something that's never been made before. And then
Something
he
new.
sends her back. That's basically how this one ends.
When she accepts. Yeah.
Yes.
So chapter 45, what am I thinking? I'm kind of shocked that like he's like, I'm gonna make you something that's never been before. And all he's making her is like a halfling. So she's like a half fae and a half vampire. Like that doesn't seem like a great disguise. It seems like he's putting like the glasses with the nose and the mustache on her. And he's like, ah, they'll never find you now. Like, what on earth?
So I was thinking that too until like, I don't know, right before we started recording. I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, this doesn't make sense. But to Dallas or whoever, when he's talking to her, says, like, we've never had one of those before. So, like, this is something new. But then I started thinking about it. And the thing is like, we couldn't have a vampire and a fae in one because the fae magic needs light and something else. Light and life.
Light and life.
Okay. But if you think about the vampires, they're like darkness and death.
Yep.
And brimstone. I don't know. I'm kind of pulling pieces out of there. So my thought is like that's kind of what that represents. So like those can't mix because their magic they can't use their magic on the opposite side of the darn. So I think that's what it really means is this is something new. Maybe she can use all sorts of magic everywhere. I don't know if she can or not. I'm kind of making this up, but like what if that is what this actually means?
I had that same thought literally also like right before we started recording when I was listening to this. So,
and I think it helps that like obviously the first time we read this we had no idea about a second one or like what it would be or whatever, and so like now knowing the title of the second one I think is like added those thoughts and theories. So but what else were you thinking?
So at least she hasn't forgotten about her brother and Elroy. I have a feeling they're going to come back in the next book or the book after that, or I don't know, at some point, because she does make a point to speak of them again. So it's interesting to see, how this is all going to get wrapped up in the next book. So the other weird thing is she's talking to Talladega Nights.
Yes.
And like she doesn't remember anything, like how all this
Oh,
went
right.
down, because he's put some sort of block on her memory.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no, release it. And then all of this like floods back to her. Um, everything that she's gone through to become, it's quite the process to become a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
Although they don't mention the process for her to become a Fae, so do they think that she's always been Fae?
I think that's what we aren't
We don't
supposed to
know.
know, or we're supposed to try to speculate or whatever.
She's just no longer human, but
Mm-hmm.
she was supposed to originally be Fae. Then everything was interfered with, so who knows?
But she was
Mm.
human
She
before
was
all
born
this.
human. She was human. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my question for you, now that we finished, and Jess, this will be my question for you as well. But where do you think we're going in Brimstone? Like where we just left off here, like where are we going in Brimstone?
I think we're going to explore what the realm or area, kingdom, whatever you want to call it, on the other side of the Darn,
Oh,
how that's
Sansaroth.
ruled.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to learn how to rule some beaters. Um, we're going to learn about Kingfisher and how he can't do magic on that side of the Darn, and what's that going to look like, and what new powers does she possess, and who is this big bad god guy? I can't imagine he's good, but there has to be. I think our was not big enough. I think we were thinking small scale. We need to think much larger.
Oh, so
Mm-hmm.
you think the gods are bad? Or at least the
At
God of Chaos
at
is?
some point, maybe not the god of chaos, but somebody in that realm. It's got to be bigger than what we're seeing for 98% of this book.
Hmm. Okay. I didn't think of that yet. Okay.
The whole thing with the runes on her hands, the
Mm-hmm.
alchemist runes. Um, I mean, you kind of said it already, but that was my thought too. Like the whole Brimstone, because Quicksilver is one of them. Brimstone is one of
Mm-hmm.
them. The next book's name is Brimstone. Um, there's gonna be a whole thing with the Brimstone. And when I think Brimstone, I think dragons. Um,
Yep.
I
Heck
think that
yeah.
we're definitely going to be seeing dragons in the next book. I hope so. And I'm kind of with Carla, like I don't know who the big bad is now because Malcolm's gone. Madra is, I mean, she's back through the Quicksilver. She's still around. Velicon is being handled, whatever that means. So he's probably still around. I don't know. But like I agree with Carla that they're not bad enough. They're not big enough. But I don't know who the real enemy is going to be. What about
Okay.
you? I'm sure you've got some pretty
I
big
do.
thoughts here.
I think we're gonna see more dragons.
Yeah.
We're gonna see witches who are
Yeah.
hiding dragons, I think.
I do agree with that.
And that's
Mm.
why they think that they're all gone. Um, I think she's so like at some point they say like there was three different types of alchemists or whatever, and they believe she was the second one that
Mm-hmm.
would use metals and ores
Mm-hmm.
to invent things or whatever or create.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mean, okay, think about like some of those are metals, some of those would be ores, I think. I don't know. I'm not an alchemist. I don't know, but like
Mm-hmm.
so I think like she's going to be able to manipulate all these different things and use them and that kind of stuff. Just don't know how. But I think that's going to be a big deal. Um, I think she basically became a god or is learning how to be a god on
Yeah.
Earth or not Earth, but whatever this is. But Carla, my one question. So what is our final
Okay.
verdict? Have we reached one? Carrion Swift. Is he or is he not the brother?
He's not the brother, but it was
Oh,
really
thank God.
fun
He's not the
saying team
Finally.
brother.
brother.
In
Ew.
my best Murray voice.
I, man.
Okay, Carla. Who is the love interest?
I mean, we know it's not Carrion. I think we know it's Kingfisher. It's been blatantly obvious with the runes and the I think it was kind of obvious from the get-go, but
You just didn't want to believe
I'm gonna go with Carrion.
it.
You think it's gonna be Carrion? Okay.
I think it's gonna be
Okay.
Carrion. I
Okay.
mean, a girl can dream.
Love interest for
I
Ceres, not you.
Oh,
I got nervous that
oh,
this is gonna be like a love, not a love triangle, like a love square.
Love
Because
Square.
now we have Talladega Nights. He's
mm,
involved. He's got
Yeah.
main character energy too. You know
He
what I'm
kind of
saying?
does.
And then we have Carrion and we have Kingfisher for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason. I don't know, but it's got a weird formula going on.
I also think there's a little side romance that's gonna happen with Everlane and Lorith, or Everlane and Ren.
it's gotta be
mm.
it's gotta be Ren.
Because I can't remember which one of them it was, but one of
It
them was
was
like
Ren from the
really, was it Ren?
beginning.
It was like
Yeah.
really, really upset
Oh,
about
yeah.
her being captive and like on a more emotional level than the rest of them
And
were.
she had like batty eyes for him at the library and stuff like that too.
Yeah, yeah,
And
Yeah,
yeah.
Carla put
So
them on the love boat
she
after
I
she
did.
put
did
him
early,
on the
early.
love boat with the librarian at first.
I did.
Yep.
Rhinoceros. Yep. Yep. Okay. Do we
And
have
we still
any?
got Dania that needs some.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
That
Danya
Dania
and
and
Talladega
Carrion.
Nights. Oh
No,
God.
Talladega.
Dania and Carrion, 100%.
Yeah,
You know,
probably.
maybe.
It's gonna 100% be that one. He's
But
too
I
much of a
don't like
dick and
her.
she's just too much of a bitch.
That
So
would be
it'll be
absolutely
perfect.
hilarious,
It'll be
actually.
great.
It would be.
It'll be like, what were you two doing? Don't worry about it. None of your damn business. He'll be like, we were doing it.
Yeah, she's like, shut up.
How the comfort. That's probably exactly how it'll have it do.
Yep.
And we'll both be like, wait, what? Okay. So do we have any more thoughts about tattoos and their meanings? I know we just kind of talked about them a little bit more, but I didn't know if we'd get into it too hard, and we didn't think about it too hard until like literally the last second. But
I have thoughts, but I also didn't want to take like steal Katie's thunder because she had. I
yeah,
wish she was here because her thoughts last week, like
we're
Leslie and I were
amazing.
floored.
Well,
We
hold
were.
on, hold on.
All right.
So that was going to be my next question for you guys,
Oh,
was
sorry.
at the
Didn't read
end
it wrong.
of the last episode. No, you're good. So episode 2, which was the last one we did, we recorded. Jess and I had to have a private conversation without you guys after we finished recording. What do you think was said by one of you that we needed to discuss? And by the
Mhm.
way, we were
Oh my
actually
gosh.
texting back and forth while this was happening.
Yep.
That we were
Really?
shocked that you guys were calling. Yes.
Yep.
Gosh, and it wasn't the brother.
No. No.
We've established that you did not call that.
Uh, apparently it was something Katie said.
Uh-huh.
Something about tattoos.
Yes.
Mhm.
And how she was talking about like I said, I wish she was able to be here so that she could
Yeah.
remind us, but about how it was like a, not necessarily a prophecy, but she wondered if like those were the fates, and then like that was like, well, like yeah, basically like
I think she
it was
did
a
say prophecy.
prophecy. Yeah, like the
Mhm.
tattoos were like a prophecy and stuff. And then me and Jess are like sitting here and we're stewing. We're like, she's calling this because this is basically what they're saying it is, like about how she's godbound and like all this stuff. And like we were like, whoa. And then like we can't stop thinking about it still, because
Mhm.
now with our other thoughts, we're just like, whoa. And she called that and we were mind blown. And I
Yeah,
think
go ahead.
even in the video, I say something like, sorry, my brain farted or something like that.
Yep.
That was really good thoughts or something like that. Because I
I do
literally
remember you saying that.
I could not form a sentence. Like I was just like so mind blown. And I texted Jess something. What did I text you? Like, are you hearing this?
Yeah. And then you're like, you can't say anything. I'm like,
I
I
said,
won't.
we have to be
We
quiet.
can't
We have
talk
to,
about this yet. But it made me think about it differently too, in the reread. Because
Yeah.
even in the reread, until Katie said that, I was still so stuck because of course I'm stuck on the mates thing. And I think
Yeah.
that's what they're trying to, like, what she's kind of trying to make you do is
Right.
think the tattoos are just like a mating thing. And then yeah, we've got the alchemist runes and whatnot, but we already know she's an alchemist, so whatever. But there was more on her.
Yeah.
Like I was like, yeah, really thinking hard about that after Katie said it,
Yeah.
that
But yeah,
there's got to be some sort of prophecy.
our flabbers were gassed it, okay?
Well, to be fair, what your listeners probably don't know, I know you know, but she is an English, journalism major. So tearing things apart and examining them are really her strength. So,
Yep. All right, let's get to book ratings. So the first time I gave this a 5.5, and I still did again the second time. There's just a couple things that I was just like, I don't really like this, but it wasn't for me.
5.5?
No, 4.5 out of 5.
4.5.
There
I'm
we
like,
go.
damn, you
Good
gave a
job.
book more than 5? Like, getting a
I
5 out of you
know.
is hard, so good grief.
I know.
it's so hard because fantasy is so not my genre.
Yeah.
But that being said, there are some within the fantasy realm that I do love. So it was right there in the middle for me. So I gave it a 2.5. I didn't hate it. I finished it,
Yeah, that's an award in
but
itself.
right. But is this a book I would have picked up on my own? Is this a book I would have finished if my sister didn't ask me to? Probably not. So I went right down the center with the 2.5.
Yeah, works. Jess?
I'm a 4.5 also. The only thing I don't like is when people bicker. That frustrates me
Yeah.
and don't communicate well.
That was kind of one of mine. It
That's like,
wasn't as bad in this one.
no, I
sure,
mean, because like
but
there were things he literally couldn't say and
yeah.
stuff like that. So it was not terrible compared to other books we've read, but
And that
yeah,
was like another
it's
thing that like Carla and Katie would like talk about and stuff like that. And I was just like, do 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 do. Don't
but
say anything.
yeah, I 4.5. It's up there as one of my top books for sure that I love.
Nice. Me too.
So, listeners, you did get to hear Katie in the opening this evening, but unfortunately, after we began recording, she did have a little bit of an emergency with one of her roommates. Everyone is fine, but you will notice she did not finish out the rest of the episode. We do look forward to hearing her next time in Brimstone.
And we hope you have all loved discussing QuickSilver with us and our new bookcast members.
Want to be a bookcast member? Then do all the social media things. Like, follow, comment, and subscribe on all the platforms for the Unhinged Bookcast.
Next week, we'll be taking a short break to get started reading our first of 4 reading sections for Brimstone by Callie Hart.
But we won't leave you hanging. We will have a bonus episode discussing Kingfisher's point of view chapters.
And none of us have read or listened to these yet. Please don't be a buzzkill for us or our fellow readers by leaving spoilers for those bonus chapters in the comments.
Then we'll be back on Tuesday, December 2nd to jump into Brimstone.
This will be our last podcast read for 2025.
We are so happy that you have all joined us on this journey, and we can't wait for you all to see which series we have planned for next year.
And as always, buddy reading any book with book besties is so much fun.
So make sure to share our podcast with your book besties. And if you don't have any book besties,
then become one of ours. And until next week, fill those drinks with ice.
and your books with spice. Bye.
Bye.
And it wouldn't be a good ending without my husband snoring in the back.